Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. A couple of clips that I'm going to be playing here. I'm actually going to, which I don't normally do, I'm going to piggyback some content off of someone that I follow. And I believe a lot of you guys also follow him too, is BCP, Black Conservative Perspective. He put this video together about how unhinged Brandon Johnson is over what happened on the 4th of July weekend, where multiple people got shot and people got killed. Okay, I'm not gonna play the whole video in its entirety. I'm just gonna play some of it, so you guys can more or less get the gist of what's going on, and then I'm gonna add some stuff that I came across that it caught my attention, and I just find it to be very very unhinged coming from the Democrats. But everybody knows that anything coming from the Democrats is totally unhinged. And if I have some time, there's something that I came across also that I want to read. It's only about a 10-second read, but something that I came across that came out of a book. So if I can get to that, I'll wind up doing that. But before I continue, two things. Number one, I want to give Lou Valentino a shout out. Found out earlier today, his second channel got monetized. Congratulations, bro. Hope everything he's working out and they go and monetize his regular channel back. God knows that he's been through a lot, and because of him also, putting my name out there, a lot of you guys came and joined my family, and I'm very grateful for that. The second thing is, if you want to help support the channel, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. If you want to help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App, and my merch store, TrueOutlawPatriot.com. Also, I'm gonna, in case nobody knows, I'm gonna leave a link to this video for BCP, so you guys can go and follow his channel, show him some love. He's always there on the front line. I've been watching him for well over a year now, and he's always got something. All his content is very interesting. But without further ado, let's play this clip. This came out 2 days ago, and it's the police chief and Brandon Johnson talking, and once again how the Democrats are going to go and put the blame on others instead of them just taking the blame for themselves. But here we go.
Sarah Schulte, ABC 7. I understand both of you guys were in the Grand Crossing neighborhood on Friday night, I believe. I have a question for the mayor. That is quite a few hours after the initial event. Were you out of town on Thursday?
I was out of town earlier this week.
We're on Thursday, on 4th of July, you were out of town.
Yes.
Given the fact that 4th of July is known to be a very violent time in the city of Chicago, do you think that was a wise idea to be out of town?
Well, here's what I can say emphatically, that my work never ends. It doesn't. I accept the responsibility of 24/7 on call every day of the week. It's very seldom do I get a chance to celebrate, on a personal level. But, the communications between my office, Chicago Police Department, OEMC, our state and federal partners, none of that stuff stops because I'm out of town. Of course, once I was arrived for the entire weekend, as what has been indicated, we had an early morning call on Friday with our summer operations with Chicago Police Department, Chicago Fire Department, OEMC. Of course, I was there for Operation Wake Up and throughout the entire weekend.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about woke progressive Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who is back in the spotlight because of the destruction and chaos that has happened in Chicago over the 4th of July weekend. Okay, we all know it is summertime, and during the summer, that is the most dangerous time to be in these liberal cities, okay, because the agents of chaos, aka the young scholars, are out in full force. They're out of school, and they are wreaking havoc, okay? And that is what's happening in Chicago, as, again, over 100 people were shot in Chicago over the 4th of July weekend, with
Did you hear that, people? Over 100 people were shot over the 4th of July weekend in Chicago. Okay? You know, it's insane the way this mayor is running this city, is running Chicago, and still has the nerve to, like I keep saying, take taxpayer money, okay, and instead of implementing programs to make Chicago safer. Now I'm not gonna bitch about him going somewhere for the 4th of July weekend. Excuse me. I mean, everybody's entitled, you know, to take some time off. I get that, but like I'm saying, like, you know, they take all this money, okay, and they put it into other programs that don't benefit the community, aka whatever money they're spending on illegal immigration, instead of spending it on more security, instead of putting out, excuse me, more police on the ground, knowing that what potentially could happen on the 4th of July. And it's not just in Chicago. I mean, this is something that happens, you know, nationwide. A lot of people, believe it or not, take out their grievances on the 4th of July. It's like the perfect timing. Okay, there's a lot of criminals out there that commit a lot of crime during that day, and also on Halloween. And you would think that with statistics like that, because these are not one-offs. Okay, this is something that should have been thought about. You know what? This might be a very hot weekend. What are we going to do about it? But obviously, as we can see, over 100 people got shot, and they're going to say the numbers of how many people got killed. And like I said, it's shocking the way this man could go out there and say that, you know, regardless of where he's at, you know, he's on the job 24/7. And that may be the case, but here's the thing, once again, what did you do to prepare for the weekend? And in my opinion, the answer to that is nothing. But let's continue.
Almost 20 people dead to...
Mayor Brandon Johnson and Chicago police calling for the community to step up and help after an extraordinarily violent weekend. More than 100 people shot on Chicago streets.
And WGN's Julian Cruz is live in the city's South Austin neighborhood with more now. Julian?
Good evening, Ray and Mike. Families across Chicago devastated by the violence here on the west side. One family we talked to dealing with their loss. Gunshot victim Melvin Hill found shot to death late last night here in his South Austin apartment.
CPDtip.com. Please give us information.
Top police commanders appealing for help to solve the case of victims like Melvin Hill, found unresponsive on his kitchen floor late last night, investigators say, with a gunshot wound to the head on the 200 block of North Central. Hill, one of 19 Chicagoans who lost their lives the 4th of July weekend.
19 families who woke up this morning without a son, without a daughter, without a mother, without a father.
Mayor Brandon Johnson at the Public Safety Building with Police Superintendent Larry Snelling and others. He says it's going to take everyone to slow the violence, with a staggering 109 shootings overall this violent holiday weekend.
I'm urging all of you across the entire city to step up to say that we've had enough. To step up to stop this vicious cycle of violence.
We need to take these people off the street, and we need to keep them off the street so that they don't reoffend.
Snelling repeating the mayor's plea for people to step up with information with the recent surge of vicious crimes, including the youngest victim of all, Bryson Orr, shot down in Grand Crossing along with his mother and cousin.
We cannot bring back these children.
You know, I'm gonna stop you here for a second. You know, it's ridiculous the way this mayor is asking the people to step up and say something and do something. You know, he has the power, just like every other mayor and governor in this country, to beef up the police departments, okay, to do community outreach, to bring the communities together. Why is it okay, that we're seeing more and more of this violence in the blue cities, in the blue states. And then when it becomes overwhelming, because this by far, I mean, this is incredible. What they say, 109, 119, okay, 109, and out of that, 19 people killed. I mean, just on that statistic alone, 109 people shot, 19 killed. That right there constitutes, okay, a mass shooting, a mass killing. I mean, whatever it is you want to call it. But it's funny how when it happens on their turf, okay, they won't call it that. They want the community to come together and do something about it when they have the power to put a stop to this. But let it happen somewhere else, okay, where it's not in their district or their community or their state, and right away they want to paint it a mass shooting, and let's push more legislation to take away the guns. But let's continue.
We need every single person to step up. We need people to start coming forward. We need people to take responsibility. Help us help you.
Somebody always knows something about somebody. Say something. Because it is a matter of life and death.
Mayor Johnson says that he and his administration are working to secure more federal funds in order for the city to deal with this crisis. In South Austin, Julian Cruz, WGN News.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Okay, no wonder the woke mayor wants everybody outside of Chicago to stop talking about Chicago, because if you talk about Chicago and the destruction and chaos that's going on within Chicago, then that makes him look bad, okay? And he wants to deflect criticism and place the blame on everybody else, okay? Everybody else has to step up in order to stop crime, because apparently, according to him, the problem is not him or his policies or his progressivism or the demonization of police that has made it hard for liberal cities like Chicago to hire more police officers, or the fact that he tends to try to deflect criticism away from the young scholars that are committing these crimes, saying that you should not criticize them or demonize them, which is part of the reason why he supports soft on crime policies that are designed to not really punish these young scholars and criminals for their bad behavior. No, it's not any of that stuff, right? It's not his incompetence. No, it's not.
Exactly, it's not. And I agree with him 100%. And I've been talking about this for the longest. I mean, you know, and I'll say it and I'll keep saying it again. I'll keep playing this broken record, okay? That all the money that they're spending, all the money that they've been allocating to give to illegal immigrants, okay, they could have been spending that money to fix up Chicago. But they won't. Same thing in Detroit. They won't. Same thing in Seattle. They won't. Colorado. They won't. California. They won't. New York. They won't. Upstate New York. Okay? With opening up a prison, reopening up a prison in not upstate New York, in Massachusetts. It's like all these blue-run cities and states, they come up with all this money. They're over here saying that, you know, we're trying to get the funding, you know, from the federal government. But why do you need more money from taxpayers when you have a budget in your city and you're using that money to give to others that cross the border illegally? When, especially when it's the Democratic Party that was talking about defunding the police. So now you got poor enrollment in the police department. You got more police officers leaving. You got citizens scared, so they're not going to say anything, you know, about what's going on. You got more criminals breaking more laws. You got illegal criminals coming through and joining the criminals that are here breaking laws, committing crime, causing chaos. And now you're going to come out and say, we need people to step up. We need people to say something. We're trying to get more federal funding. Why? because you're the one that's incompetent. You dropped the ball. You're the one that wanted this. You're the one that told your constituents, you got this, and now 109 people got shot, 19 are dead, the smallest one was a child. When you got the power in your hand to come out and say, you know what? We don't need to spend billions of dollars as a sanctuary city. We have problems of our own. And this is a perfect scenario of all the people that have always thrown at me and send me nasty messages and shit like that saying, oh, what difference does it make? We have criminals in America as it is. Yes, this is the perfect example for me to finally get it through people's heads. Yes, this is why we don't need to be funding more people coming here illegally when we could be using that money to take care of the homegrown crime that we have here in America. So when you take out of one hand and put it in the other hand, what do you get? You get innocent victims, dead, murdered. That's it, gone. Babies gone, mothers gone. People, over 100 people, okay, shot. Now all those people, the ones that didn't die, the ones that survived, they're gonna live with trauma. It just goes, the chaos fucking goes on and on and on. And the mayor's gonna come out and say, we need people to step up and say something. You don't live in those neighborhoods, man. You weren't prepared. What do you think? That all those people that got shot, it was just one group of people? It was throughout Chicago. Those are multiple families. Those are multiple potential victims if they say something. But now, instead of just saying, you know what, I messed up, this is what we got to do, we definitely going to have to focus more on the constituents, on the Americans that live here, on the citizens, instead of worrying and bitching to everybody else about the illegals, what they need. What do you do now? Nothing. Okay? Because it would be a miracle if he did do something, if Chicago changed. Now, do I think that the community needs to get together? Yes, but not in the way that he's saying. Okay? Because in the way that he's saying is going to potentially bring more victims, create more chaos. What do you think? If these people that went out there and shot those people, those 19 people, and randomly just shot and killed a child and his mom, and I think they said his aunt, I guess it was her sister or something, you think they're going to care to go after anybody that's ratting them out? Of course not. But does the mayor care about that? No. You know? They just want to like shift the blame, like BCP was saying, just shift the blame away from what they're doing and just make it seem like, you know what, this is a coordinated effort. Everybody has to get together and do it. No, you, between him and Lori Lightfoot and everybody before that, okay, they dropped the ball. They have not given the citizens, okay, the security to come out and say, you know what, yes, I will step up and say something. You haven't, because you catered to the criminals first, and you still do. And now, once again, on a day where people should have just had a good time celebrating their independence, 19 people are gone. Another 80 or 90 shot. God only knows what their conditions are. But when you have a mayor like that trying to put out, how can I say, I don't even know the word you can use with him anymore, because every word in the book has been used by these Democrats in order to try to describe who they are and what they do. And it's pathetic. And sorry about all the noise in the background, it's my phone going off. But I'm going to leave this at that. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can finish watching it. I don't want to take all of BCP's juice. But the next clip I want to show you is once again how Democrats from crime-ridden, cities and districts and states want to keep blaming, passing the buck, turning the story around, okay, and putting fear into people. And that's why I say that the Democratic Party and the ones in power, they're just evil. Because with everything that's going on in their own home, in their own backyard, they're still trying to stoke fear into people. But here we go. Okay, now I take no joy in promoting this channel. It's a short clip by Roland Martin. If anybody knows him, you want to go visit his channel, do it at your own risk, because this guy is one race baiting hustler. Okay, but I came across this short clip, and this is good old Maxine Waters, that now they call Auntie Maxine, who is in charge of the 43rd district, I believe, in California, which is Los Angeles and all that. And everybody knows what the hell is going on in California, especially in and around Los Angeles. But listen to what she has to say, okay, in this quick clip that she was, they were honoring her at an Essence Fest, okay, and this is what I'm saying, where the Democrats, they're just evil with their rhetoric. They just keep doing this, and they don't even take care of their own constituents, their own backyard, nothing. Okay? But they want to keep pointing fingers and putting fear into people. Listen to this.
Has told you who he is. He defined himself. He is a no-good, deplorable, lying, despicable human being.
She's talking about Trump. Let's continue.
And he's talking about if he doesn't win, there's going to be a bloodbath. There's going to be violence.
Okay, I'm just going to cut it. It's a short clip, but I'm going to finish playing the rest. Once again, here are the Democrats coming and switching these words around. Okay? When Trump came out and said that there was going to be a bloodbath, there was going to be violence, what he was talking about was with the border being open. And case in point, look at all the crime that has been going on committed by illegal migrants. That's the bloodbath he was talking about. That's the chaos he's talking about. That's the crime he's talking about. But this woman, okay, the vicious snake that she is, okay, is going to go just like all the other Democrats. And they keep using the words that he says, they keep flipping it around and making it seem like he wants to do this to come after us. And then she'll go and make it a race thing. Pay attention.
There's going to be a civil war. Who the hell do you think he's coming after? Who's going to be targeted? Who is he talking about? But you know he means business, because he is the one that led the invasion on the Capitol January 6th. Now.
Okay, I'm going to stop it again. First of all, he never said there was going to be a civil war. The Democrats started that damn narrative. Okay? He didn't start that narrative. They did. Secondly, okay, he was not found guilty of what happened on January 6th, but they keep repeating it. Thirdly, if anybody's been paying attention, a judge has been releasing the prisoners from January 6th. Okay? But she's gonna come, this batshit crazy woman, and just keep feeding this fear. Okay? But yet, her district, Los Angeles, California, and surrounding areas, I mean, they're war zones. With the drugs and the crime and the rape and the murder, I mean, is just horrible. But this is how they're going to honor this woman at a supposedly prestigious award ceremony. And this is what she has to say. And this is why shit like in Chicago keeps happening, because you got people like Brandon Johnson and people like this woman that no matter what is going on in their own yard, they want to fucking point the finger to somebody else. But let's continue.
Do we have to talk about the difference between these two? Now, I want to tell you, no matter what anybody says, it ain't gonna be no other Democratic candidate.
Good.
It's gonna be Biden, and we better know it.
Okay, I'm going to pause right there. It was a short clip. She said it's going to be Biden and we better know it. Good, let it be Biden. He's losing already as it is. Okay, as a matter of fact, it's safe to say he lost, basically. Okay? Now, you heard what the mayor of Chicago had to say. Okay, you see what happened in Chicago. You see the way Maxine Waters is trying to put Trump down, trying to paint them this different color, trying to put all these words in his mouth, trying to turn the whole scenario around, okay? Saying that, you know what, there's going to be no other Democrat candidate but Biden, so we better stand by Biden. Yeah, stand by Biden. Let's just see, okay, what's going on as of late. Here we go.
President Biden's border crisis taking a toll across the country with a series of migrant arrests in high-profile cases. Just this week, an ICE source confirmed a DUI suspect in Albuquerque entered the U.S. illegally. He is now accused of running a red light and killing a 22-year-old man. And here in New York City, ICE arrested an MS-13 gang member wanted for murder in El Salvador. Authorities say he also crossed into the U.S. illegally. And we are getting new heinous details in the Houston murder of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungare. As her family confirms, Jocelyn was indeed sexually assaulted before being killed. The two suspects, by the way, also illegal immigrants. Republicans warn this sort of crime could happen anywhere.
We're seeing so many angel families now popping up and being created. Angel families being folks that are victims of crimes committed by illegals around the country. And there's more to come. If people think that this is it, it's one and done, they are sadly mistaken. This is happening in every single community around the country. Every state, every town in America is a border town, thanks to Joe Biden.
Joining us now is New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, member of the House Ways and Means Committee. When I interviewed Kat Kamek yesterday, she just made such a great point that we just re-aired there in the fact that every single town is a border town in this country. Now remember, if you were to back up, and obviously the border patrol crisis has actually been an issue for over decades, but every border town is in New York City, is in Texas, not only Texas and Arizona, but in Los Angeles. Because why? This administration has opened our borders and they've been allowed to just spread all over the country freely, and therefore...
Okay, I'm going to cut it real quick. You heard one of the states that she just said. She said Los Angeles. Maxine Waters is in charge of Los Angeles. That is her district. Okay? I looked up some information on her. In 2020... she was re-voted in for her 16th. You heard that right. For her 16th time. That woman was voted in 2020. So whatever it is, if it's 2 years or 4 years, it doesn't matter. That woman has been there in Los Angeles for 32, if I'm correct, I'll just say for 20 years. I'm not good on the math when it comes to like who's in power or whatever the case is. But if she was voted in 16 times, it's safe to say she's been there way before Trump was president. And it's a disaster. But yet, she's over here putting fear in people, talking about that Trump says that if he gets elected, or if he doesn't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath. When what he was saying was that if he doesn't get elected and close down that border, it's going to be a bloodbath. Talking about what is going on with the crime that is coming through the border, that is happening in the streets from homegrown criminals. But they want to go change it around and make it seem like, you know what, Trump's the big bad guy. Okay, if you want to say Trump is the big bad guy, okay, that's your right. But then what does that make you? With your district. Your district's on the list with what's going on with the crime and illegal immigrants coming in. What does that make you? Let's continue.
for now, these Democratic cities are paying the price.
Exactly. What's equally as bad, Julia, is the states like New York, which have laws like the Greenlight Law, which actually gives licenses to illegal immigrants, and also a special status so that our police cannot share with ICE, with other Customs and Border Protection agents as to the status of these people. It's exactly why Laken Riley was murdered, because New York City police had to let the murderer go, even though they had suspected that.
Now I want to stop this real quick before I continue. Look at this map. Okay, we'll just start. I mean, illegal immigrants captured over the past 2 weeks. Jocelyn Johanna, I can't pronounce the last name, alleged killer in Syracuse. 15-year-old girl, alleged rapist in Boston. In Albany, 15-year-old girls alleged rapist. New York City, 13-year-old girls alleged rapist. 2 counts of murder in El Salvador for somebody, whoever they caught, I guess, in Indianapolis. 12-year-old girls alleged rapist in Houston. 2 Chick-fil-A workers killed in Irvine, Texas. Albuquerque involved a fatal crash in New Mexico. Rachel Morin's alleged rapist and killer in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now that's an older one, okay, but I believe they were captured. 14-year-old girl kidnapped in Logansport. Okay, so it's saying illegal immigrants captured over the past 2 weeks. Look at this. And people are still talking about that if you don't let illegals in, you're a racist. Okay? I got people telling me, okay, that I'm wrong because I can't just go and say don't let anybody in because there's good people in there. But if my answer to this has always been the same. And it goes back to the beginning of the video of what happened in Chicago. Okay? We have our own natural born criminals in this country. We don't need to import anymore. Okay? Especially with this administration, when in the past couple of videos that I've made, and in the news, some of the illegal migrants that they caught that committed crimes, they said that they were vetted. So not only are they getting through the vetting system, they're running from their countries because they're wanted in their countries from committing crimes. This is why I say, and this is why I agree with Donald Trump and tens of millions of other Americans. Shut the damn border down. Round everybody up. Send them back. If they truly want to come to this country, they will go through the right process and they will make it work. They will do the right thing in order to escape, okay, their persecution like they're saying. But I guarantee you, 8 or 9 out of 10 of them are not going to do it because they're not coming here for the right reasons. But until you can find the right ones, you need to shut the damn border down. You need to round these people up. You need to stop letting them go into society. And I'm still fucking livid that one of the guys that raped that poor girl and killed her had an ankle bracelet on. Okay? And I'd still like to know why. Because the mainstream media and the left are saying, well, that's what they do to these illegals. I've watched too many videos and too much news, and I've put out too many videos, and has anybody seen, because I haven't seen it, has anybody seen illegal immigrants in any of the content I've put out or on the news media? Has anybody seen any of them walking around with ankle bracelets? I haven't. Which means that they let that man in and they knew something and they let him go. But let's continue.
That he had ties to a gang, illegal gang. He also had ties to crimes, and they had to let him go, and he went and killed Laken Riley, an innocent student down in Georgia. That's why every state is a border state, and I represent the northern border of New York State. 85% of the people on the terror watch list, according to the Border Patrol, is coming across the northern border because New York's laws are so lenient, and because New York State does not impose any restrictions on these people, and you end up having the cartels saying, "Oh, this is a better option. Let's go to New York and get closer to New York City, where they can pretty much live, without unanimity, without anyone finding out who they are. They can just kind of go into the seams and nobody finds them." And this is a real problem, and it's not just New York City. It is everywhere. It's upstate New York. We just had a horrible tragedy in Albany, another killing by illegal immigrants. We've had, all kinds of, we're seeing rapes and murders and the worst kind of crimes against children, which I can't think of anything worse at this point.
And these are repeat offenders. And the reason they're repeat offenders is because our law enforcement isn't allowed to keep them in jail. So they're actually going out, they're committing these crimes, spending a couple hours behind bars, being let out on nothing for bail, and then reoffending. I mean, this is like the land of the free for criminals, and you can just...
And then you have places like Massachusetts, again, I'll say it again, that they're going to go and open up a prison that was closed down and make it ready to house people instead of sticking these monsters in prison. No, they let the criminals out into the street, and they're going to house the women and children in a damn prison.
Just come to the United States and commit crimes, not pay and not do the time, and there's no accountability whatsoever. Although the administration is now, believe it or not, after all of that, okay, I mean, now in the final year of his administration, doing a victory lap. Saying that after 3 weeks, President Biden's border executive action appears to be working. Okay, so June numbers did hit a 3-year low. But what about the millions here already, including, these gang members that are reoccurring and killing and maiming and murdering and attacking children? I mean, what are they doing about that?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the gang members, the murders, rape. These people are coming across. Remember, President Trump famously said that they're not sending their best. They're sending everyone they can, and it's not them. It's not the countries that are doing this. It is the cartels. They are finding a way to human traffic people and murderers and anyone who wants to come to our country get to come in. And we're so overstressing the system. The Customs and Border agents do not have the resources to keep our border safe, and that's what you're seeing. ICE, they can't control it. All we needed to do was to, at least at the very minimum, is go back to remain in Mexico and stop catch and release. 2 things that President Trump did that did the most to secure our border.
That's it.
2 things that Joe Biden erased on day 1, and that's why you're seeing this record number of people coming across. And Julia, it is terrible, not just from a security standpoint. The cost is unbelievable, hundreds of billions of dollars across the nation. And now we're seeing billions of dollars to New York taxpayers alone to take care of illegal immigrants, and whether it's their housing, everything. It's just not prioritizing American citizens and people here lawfully. And the other thing is, we have millions of people waiting to come here lawfully. Why are we allowing these people to come here and be trafficked? Why are we allowing the gangs to actually have operational control of our border? We aren't a country if we don't have sovereignty and can't protect us. And here we are on Independence Day. In order to be independent, we have to have our border secure.
Here we have a...
Okay, I'm going to pause it right now. And it's true. What about all the people that have been waiting years to come here legally? Going through all the paperwork, that are doing the right thing, that are going back and forth. What happened to them? You would think they would have expedited their paperwork and said, okay, you know what? So we can make room. Let's push you up a little quicker. But no, they did it the opposite. They're letting in all these men, all these criminals. Donald Trump has been saying it for the longest. If people forget, he was the president. He was getting the intel. He's probably still getting some intel, if I had to guess. Okay. But they didn't have the money to do anything good for the citizens, and they're going to spend the money on the illegals, and a bunch of them are coming in committing crimes. And then you have like the mayor of Chicago, who's been telling his constituents, well, I mean, he hasn't been there for years, but it's been the same story for years. He's just picking it back up and regurgitating it. We don't have money for this, we don't have money for that, we don't have money to protect Chicagoans, we don't have money, but we got billions of dollars to house illegals. And on the 4th of July, since we decided to give the illegals money, 109 people got shot, 19 died, one of them was a child and his mother. The rest are in the hospital or God knows where. But the community has to come together. Well, shit. The community's been coming together in Chicago, okay, voicing their grievances, telling them stop letting people in, stop spending our money, help us. Have they listened? No. Has Brandon Johnson listened? No. Has Biden listened? No. Kathy Hochul, Eric Adams, Gavin Newsom, have any of them listened? No. But now that more and more of this stuff is coming to light, and there's an election coming up, everybody, we fixed it up in the past 3 weeks. It doesn't matter if one more crime that does not get committed from this moment forward, all the other blood is still on your hands. Plain and simple. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. If you want to help support the channel, I'll leave a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store, TrueOutlawPatriot.com. So remember, people, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, keep praying for the children, and keep praying for this country, and pray for Donald Trump. Peace.